This, my fellow gamers, is the all-new 2025 Lenovo Legion Pro 7, and despite the new design, it stays true to its roots. So what does this mean? Well, you get a gaming laptop that has been designed first and foremost to deliver a stellar gaming experience. And the Pro lineup has always been pushing for above average performance, and I can already tell you that nothing has changed about that. And with the performance you're getting from the 5080 in this one, well, it might make the 5090 obsolete, especially for gamers. But at the same time, Lenovo omits certain additional features and gimmicks, either to save costs, since once again, the Pro 7 is expensive, yet they managed to price it fairly for what you're getting, or to leave room for an upcoming Legion 9, just like they did in 2023 and 2024. For this year, we of course get the obligatory internal upgrades, a new chassis and an OLED panel, and all of these things are great, but they also have a few downsides. So let's see if the Lenovo Legion Pro 7 is still the easy high-end gaming laptop recommendation, and let's get into it. Our review sample bets on the laptop RTX 5080, running on the maximum allowed 175 watts, Intel's Core Ultra 275HX, 32 gigs of RAM and a 1TB SSD. While you can also configure your very own Legion with either the 5070 Ti or 5090 and different RAM and storage options, there are no alternative CPUs available, and as far as I know, only the upcoming Legion Pro 5 will be available with AMD silicon. Full transparency, this one right here in front of me is not our official review unit, but rather an earlier engineering sample. Lenovo kindly sent this one over so I could do our video review as early as possible for you guys. So what does this mean for you? Well, of course, we will still be able to talk about all things chassis and design related, since that's all final with this one. But when we talk about performance, I will use the data from my colleagues who tested the before mentioned final config with all of our usual tests, games and procedures. And since that one is of course a final retail sample, you will get an accurate representation about what the Legion Pro 7 is capable of. This only means that I will not be able to do our usual noise samples for this video, but I will do my very best to get a 5070 Ti or 5090 version as soon as possible so we can rectify that situation. And with that out of the way, how about we start with the new chassis? I know we were all very skeptical about the redesign right away, but I have to be honest, I might have misjudged this puppy a little bit during CES. At first glance, it might look a lot more gamery than last year's models, but now that I have it in the studio, and if you dial back the RGB a bit, it actually looks quite clean. And even the effect of the exhausts at the back without any form of lighting is quite a different one, and if you compare it with the old model directly, well, I think they actually did a really good job here. The Pro 7 looks very professional and functional, especially from its side and front, with some visual performance cues in the back. And if you wanted to look gamery, well, the excessive lighting options offer a lot of room to express yourself. Chassis quality is great, and I would say the new Pro 7 feels better than before, since you do not have these plastic exhaust covers wrapping around from the back. There's no flex anywhere, and even the hinges are quite well adjusted. One of the most controversial topics for this one when we did our initial preview from CES earlier this year was definitely the port situation, and I totally get it. The 2024 Pro 7, and actually it's been a hallmark feature of the Legion lineup in general, had the majority of ports in the back, which made for a very clean setup. Don't get me wrong, the selection in general for this one is still great, even though the overall quality of the ports shows some cost cutting as well. On the left, you get your power connector, HDMI 2.1, a Thunderbolt 4 USB-C, a 3.2 Gen 2 USB-C supporting up to 140 watts of power delivery, and the only USB-A 3.2 Gen 2. The remaining USB-As are only of the 3.2 Gen 1 standard, which will probably not matter too much unless you're transferring large amounts of data between fast drives a lot, but it's still a bit odd to get this in a high-end laptop in 2025. Apart from that, you still get a nice upgrade to 2.5 gigabit Ethernet this year and the usual physical webcam switch and audio port. Again, it's a very usable layout, but it simply breaks with an established Legion tradition that made them unique in the past. So I guess it's just something we have to get used to. What hasn't changed though is the excellent keyboard, which offers a spacious layout, a very satisfying pressure point, great tactility and quite a bit of travel. The touchpad is rather small by today's standards and it feels a bit plasticky with shallow, cheap-sounding clicks. I mean, it gets the job done, but the competition mostly offers a better experience here. Speaking about the competition, we also just received the ROG Scar 16 and Strix G16. And they are basically matching the Pro 7 in terms of specs, so please stay tuned for our reviews for those. The webcam experience actually got a very nice upgrade for 2025 with a 5-megapixel shooter that actually looks very decent for a gaming laptop. Inside of the 16-inch gaming laptop you get the usual combination of 2 SODIMMs and a pair of NVMe slots for future RAM and storage upgrades, even though there is a bit of additional disassembly needed to get there. One of the biggest changes for this year is of course the upgraded, or well, the different display experience. I'm a big OLED fanboy, so this is right up my alley, and while you do have to deal with a glossy panel, you actually get almost the same brightness results as with last year's IPS. And with almost 500 nits in SDR, the Pro 7 offers one of the brightest OLEDs in a gaming laptop on the market today. In HDR, you get up to 1000 nits of peak brightness, which is simply amazing for properly supported story games. And if you're more into the competitive side of things, the typical super snappy response times makes clicking on heads a little bit easier. For you creators out there, factory calibration could be better, but with manual calibration or by simply downloading our profile from the website, you can easily bring things up to reference levels, and with the addition of pre-calibrated presets, you are all set for all of your photo and video editing needs. Of course, this being an OLED, you have to deal with PWM, so that's something you should be aware of. Alright, let's talk performance. On the CPU side of things, it seems like Intel's Core Ultra 9 275HX will be the mainstream option for powerful performance and gaming laptops this year. And in our general CPU rating, it's slightly faster than its direct predecessor, even though it's probably not something you will really feel in most use cases. System performance gives us very good results, and even judging from the engineering sample I have right here, it's been a very snappy experience no matter what you're doing with the Pro 7. I also did some brief testing for our videos, and thanks to the additional color presets, great color gamut coverage, generous selection of ports, and of course powerful core components, the Legion makes for a great creator workstation. And I will definitely test this in more detail once I get my hands on a final sample. In fact, the Pro 7 is a great candidate to do a long-term test, both for games and our video production, so please let me know if that is something you would like to see, similar to what we did for the 2024 Razer Blade 16. On the GPU side of things, well, the RTX 5080 running at its full intended wattage, aided by the fast HX CPU, can easily beat the 5090 in the Razer, for example, and it even beats the Scar 18 in Firestrike and comes very close to its flagship brother in Temps. But the real question is of course how this translates to gaming performance, and judging by our 1080p performance rating, the Legion is once again pretty much unrivaled for now when it comes to efficiently utilizing both the 5080 and the Intel CPU at the very same time. The story continues when looking at raw FPS numbers, and as you can see, the Pro 7 is able to hold its own once again, even against the 5090 laptops we have been able to test so far. It actually makes me quite curious if this just shows how much of a better deal the 5080 is, or how much potential a 5090 Pro 7 might have. Anyways, if you mostly play games, and for the Legion it does not really matter if they are either more CPU or GPU bound, and if you do not need the 5090's additional VRAM, encoders or more specialized cores, you will probably have a very hard time finding a more flexible computing companion. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, I cannot give you our usual noise samples, but when it comes to fan noise, the Pro 7 offers pretty much the same experience as before. It gets very audible in performance mode, but balanced with its 100-watt GPU power limit is actually quite bearable. Although I would wish for a bit more wattage, to be honest, but you can always do that yourself with a manual profile. When it comes to temps and general power levels, in Cyberpunk the CPU would stabilize at around 90C and 76 watts in performance mode and about 70C and 40 watts in balanced, while the 5080 hovers around 80C and 155 watts in performance and 95 watts and 65C in balanced. If you want further insights into stress test behavior or things like internal or external temperatures, please make sure to check out our written article on the website. I will leave the links as always in the description below. Circling back to manual profiles, the Pro 7 also comes with a new software called Legion Space, similar to what we have seen on Lenovo handhelds before. It exists alongside Vantage, which will still be the place for major software updates and all of that, while all of your daily stuff moved over to the new application. So if you want to change your RGB settings, GPU modes or general performance settings, you can find them all in here. This leaves us with BatteryLife, and it seems like Lenovo stays true to its roots here as well, even though it's not really in a good way, since the new Pro 7 cannot even beat its direct predecessor and offers around 5 hours in our Wi-Fi test. While this is not really great, given the Legion's primary focus, it's kind of alright, but it would have been great to see at least some improvement here. Alright folks, that should be it for today. As always, the Lenovo Legion Pro 7 is a bit of a mixed bag, and this is especially true for the new 2025 model. It would have been great to get any form of biometric sign-in options, the USB-A's could be faster, and the omission of Thunderbolt 5 is also an odd choice. But you could see all of these things as nice to have features, and this one definitely got it where it counts, with a great keyboard, sturdy and well-made chassis, a great new OLED display and powerful internals for all of your gaming and content creation needs. As per usual, the overall generational performance gains this year compared to last year's Pro 7 are not massive, so if you already have a 4080 or 4090 Legion and do not need Blackwell exclusive features like MFG or the added VRAM, you are absolutely golden. But if you're due for an upgrade and want a powerful laptop that offers almost everything, well, definitely put the Legion Pro 7 on your shortlist. But please guys, let me know what you think. What is your final verdict about the new design, and would you be able to live with the newly arranged ports? Sound off in the comments below. Thanks a ton for watching, please leave your like and sub on your way out. My name is Alex, you have been fantastic and I cannot wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.